Sisters and brothers, as I said last night, we are at the most opportune moment for socialists to propagate our ideas that the working class and the oppressed need so badly in this country and worldwide. We live in the belly of the beast. We live in the country that has been responsible for literally the deaths of millions of people and the suffering of millions more. And the prospects for that to continue of imperialist aggression, domination, war, and occupation will continue whether Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton wins, which is the likely prospect. But we also have seen in this last year the opening of the road for socialists, especially those who speak on behalf of socialism and revolution. It's the word of the youth today. The youth talk about revolution, there's no question about that. The question for us is what we are saying the solution is. We say that there's plenty of wealth in this country for a job or income for everybody, for the youth to have from the day that they're born a life of all opportunity and true equality, of a world without racism, without sexism, without the oppression of LGBTQ people, for the rights of the disabled, for the rights of all people, and for this country to change completely what we have grown up under, of thinking that capitalism is superior to anything. All we have to do is look, for example, at the country of Cuba to see the superiority, even with a country that's underdeveloped historically, that has been under the gun of the U.S. blockade, which has caused more than $1 trillion in damage, what they have done for the people and as a beacon for the world. I'd like to make one moment to note that today is Fidel Castro's 90th birthday. Before he was born, there were socialists and communists, of course. But Fidel, being born today, 90 years ago, and what he did from the time that he was a young man, fighting ever more, believing in the struggle, and more than anything, believing in his people. Knowing that with leadership, courage, perspective, and faith in the working class, that you could win. And they did win. It's not only Fidel, it's a whole country of socialists and revolutionaries who've gone to the most remote corners of the world to help others. That is what socialism is. And I say, sisters and brothers, that for my members of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, who have always been instructed, you register Peace and Freedom Party. We are part of Peace and Freedom Party, and we support it and defend it. That this year, if I win the nomination, we will go from the top of the state to the bottom, throughout, east and west, as we have already been doing. We are already in San Diego, San Francisco, San Jose, Los Angeles, Sacramento, and in other places in between too. And we have a dynamic, youthful group with experienced people as well who've been organizing day in and day out. We've been in the valley, as I said, fighting for the rights of the people to have water and for the farm workers to have equal rights, the undocumented. We have been supporting and been a very key part of the Black Lives Movement. Our comrades are in those coalitions, have been marching, have been fighting actually across this country. But Peace and Freedom Party will benefit from my nomination because we will register thousands, we will tell people to register to defend Peace and Freedom Party, and I think that our visibility will be very, very great in this state. I urge every one of us to fight for peace and freedom in this year when there's a much more opening for the ideas of socialism. And in addition, we must continue the fight regardless of who becomes elected on November 8th. It's very essential not to become demoralized and to be that beacon for the people who are suffering, the poor, the people who have no jobs, who have no income, the youth who are crushed by the student debt, who need a perspective of the idea that the student movement was what opened the doors for me and many, many other Black and Latino youth in the 1960s and 1970s. We have to open that back up and say, we should have a nationwide student strike to really win the demand of a cancellation of debt, to expropriate the banks, the corporations, to dismantle the Pentagon, and all the things that we could have if we free this country from the grips of capitalism and imperialism. We express our solidarity with all struggling people in the world, whether it's those in Syria who are fighting against U.S. NATO bombardment, and the plans of Hillary Clinton, who wants to bomb the Assad government if she becomes president, who wants to ban the BDS movement, boycott, divestment, and sanctions. We say no. We're going to step it up to defend the Palestinian people. And we know too well of Trump's racism, his absolute bigotry, his demagogy trying to win over sections of the working class who also are oppressed and who have no hope and who are falling in for his lies. But we say this, that we must always have faith in the people, that when the people, the working class people, even reactionary people, when they hear the ideas that we say, it's not the undocumented who's your enemy, because they're the ones who work as hard as anyone in the hot sun to bring the food to our table, to fix the rooms that we are in right now. It's the capitalists, it's Trump himself, who doesn't even want you to have a $15 minimum wage. We have so much truth to give to people, and I urge that you consider nominating me. Thank you very much.